Hey there, folks. It's Dan Beck from PT 2.0. And today I'm going to talk about Power BI and what I see as the three major starting points when people get started with Power BI. This came up as a bit of a topic at Accountex a couple of weeks ago, and I talked to the group there. But from my perspective, most people start their Power BI journey by having a person that they've got sitting there that they want to train up. They've got a problem, either client or internal, that they want to start with, or they have a plan or a strategy around getting into data advisory. So what I'm going to do today is just a really quick discussion about the pros and cons of each of these approaches, and helping you make a informed decision about how you should start. So let's start off with people, right? Probably before I start, there is no right or wrong way to get started with Power BI. It's just the different strategies to employ them. So with people, so let's just say you've hired someone with some Power BI skills and you're ready to put them to good use. So what are the pros and cons of this method? To start off with, pro number one is existing expertise. Finding someone with some Power BI skills means that we can implement faster and we're spending less time on training that particular person. In a lot of cases, we can speed up innovation because suddenly we've got someone in part of the team who's got new ways to analyze and visualize data, leading to fresh insights. Okay, but there are a couple of cons with this approach as well, where we've just got a person in as part of the team. There's limited scope that we often find. So we're relying solely on one person's knowledge, and that may limit the organization's overall understanding of Power BI. Additionally to this is there's not really a plan for how it scales and the type of problems, the type of solutions that are getting built as well. The other big issue is dependence, and we've seen this quite a few times, that if your Power BI expert suddenly leaves, you've got a knowledge gap, either internally or with clients, that you now need to be able to fill in there, and that can be a little bit of a challenge for folks. And then limited work. Obviously, once we hire our first person, it takes a little bit of a while before there's a backlog of work, and that can be challenging in terms of keeping the person engaged, but also making sure that that person is busy enough to keep solving problems. So it can be overcome with a little bit of a plan, which is one of our future talking points. But just know that we see this as being one of the major issues just by starting a person. So the second major area is we're getting presented with a problem. So a client's got a problem that they've come to ask us about, or internally we've got a problem, and we start our Power BI journey by trying to solve a specific problem or challenge, which is really cool. So there's some major pros to this methodology, and we've seen a lot of people successfully move into Power BI using this strategy as well. So first of all, it's clear focus, right? There's a project that is there to learn on, so it's easy for us to manage the success and demonstrate the value of Power BI. I always say that the best way to learn Power BI is by doing, so it certainly helps with that. Immediate impact. So look, because we're solving a pressing issue and we're showcasing the power of these tools and data-driven decision-making, people can see immediately the benefit these tools are going to have, which would otherwise take a lot of prescriptive narrative to get people to understand what Power BI actually is. And as I said, learning from doing, practical use of the tools really helps you become accustomed to them quickly. Now, the cons to this can be quite a narrow perspective. So we're focusing on solving a single problem, may limit your exploration of Power BI's full potential. So, obviously you're only as good as how much you know of the product. The other thing is that we get a lot of short-term thinking. So, we get ways to we have essentially overlook a longer-term Power BI strategy as part of this aspect. And probably thirdly is because a lot of it is learning as you're doing, there's no structured approach a lot of the time to how the learning's happening. And probably more importantly, there's limited QA or reviewing that can happen as part of it. So then we've got the third option where we see firms start is with a plan. So, we strategize our Power BI implementation for those who want to prefer a more structured approach, starting with a well thought out plan of how we're actually going to use Power BI, who we're going to get involved, who we're going to target. So probably the biggest pro for all of this is there's a bit of a holistic approach. We're ensuring that the organization fully leverages the Power BI capabilities. It's scalable generally because we've set the foundations and the roles and the people and the problems. We can then scale it vertically and horizontally throughout an organization through different projects, through different departments, and so on. The other thing is that we provide a good training ground for people to get started. So it's acquiring the right roles for the right problems rather than just physically starting with a clear and pressing way to get started. We're actually planning the whole process. There are some cons, though, of course. So it can be time consuming. Obviously, developing a plan requires time, effort, bit of guidance, which may initially delay benefits coming through. And probably the other big one is rigidity. Too detailed of a plan can hinder flexibility and make it difficult to adapt to changing our circumstances and new opportunities. So, as part of all of that, there is a fourth option, which is PT2's Power BI program. So probably a bit of the best of all worlds. We offer a little bit of a strategy based on where you're starting. So it's a program designed to help businesses understand their current position, identify opportunities for improvement, and move forward efficiently, regardless of which starting point you started with. So our team will help guide through the process and analysing your organisation's needs to developing a tailored Power BI strategy. Essentially, you get to leverage our experience and knowledge so that you get the best start with the Power BI implementations. So look, there we have. That's a deep dive into the three major starting points that we see for implementing Power BI and the pros and cons of each approach. However, remember, the true power of Power BI lies in your ability to unlock insights from your data and drive informed decision making. So carefully considering that starting point and being open to adapting your approach as needed, you'll be well on your way to harnessing the full potential of Power BI and transforming your data analytics capabilities. So if you're interested in learning more about our program or have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Dan P. Beck, or visit the PT 2.0 website at www.pt20.com.au and can help you create a data-driven future for your organisation. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to remind you, keep things light and fun because even data analytics can be a hoot when you're passionate about it. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you found that informative and helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be producing more videos just around these type of topics to help you improve your capabilities. And thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. This is Dan signing off.